Hello, hello. I am DJ from Stipe. Thanks for coming here to see our presentation. Stipe is primarily a camera tracking company and also render engine. So we have a little showreel that we're gonna first play, and then I'm gonna continue with the presentation, and then at the end I'm gonna be available for some questions for you. Thank you. I see a few more people here, so I introduce myself again. I'm DJ from Stipe. We are a camera tracking and rendering solution company based in Croatia. That's where our headquarters are, but we have offices all over, including Los Angeles. Most of you that have been into virtual production for a while are familiar with our flagship product, RedSpy, that we are using here as well. We have it installed on the crane over there. I'm going to talk a little bit about our standard products that we have, and I'm going to announce some new ones that we released this year. I'm going to start with the RedSpy. RedSpy is an optical tracking solution, and it's inside out, which means that RedSpy sends infrared lights towards the ceiling, in certain situations towards the floor, and here it's towards the ceiling, and we have these reflective markers installed that are sending back infrared, and RedSpy is catching those. Thanks to this technology, we know exact position of the camera. We've been working quite a few projects here at Fuse, so RedSpy is here as a kind of like a permanent setup, and these markers are been here like for years now, both in this studio and in the smaller studio in the back. RedSpy is pretty much the most precise optical tracking solution out there, and it's been used in many projects, including some of these that you've seen on the screen. RedSpy, besides the positional data, sends exact rotational data and also lens data. We calibrate each of these lenses per project, per each job, so all the data is super precise. Besides RedSpy, we have another optical solution which is called the follower. Follower we don't have installed on this stage, but we do have it on the side over there. When you see a small green screen, you can see the follower system. Follower could be camera tracking as well, and that for that purpose we need to install Spider, which is module that we install on the studio camera, which we did over there on the side. And you're welcome to see that after the presentation. But besides the camera tracking, follower is also object tracking and talent tracking. We do that with beacons that we install on pretty much anything. We send positional data, and if we have more than one beacon, we can send rotational data as well. With the Spider, we were able to send lens data. For the project that we just played at as a Fallout show, we used both RedSpy and Follower. That was pretty advanced, and with Follower, we tracked floating LED walls, and we also tracked that helicopter over there. I'm going to talk a little bit more about projects at the end, but first I would like to mention most of the products that we have. So those are two of our optical tracking solutions. RedSpy being kind of the flagship these days for anything virtual production. Whenever it needs camera tracking, it seems that it's using RedSpy. Besides optical tracking, we have mechanical tracking. Here we have the crane, which is called Human Crane. That's our mechanical tracking solution. And interesting part of it, actually that's a part of the Stipe kit. Stipe kit was actually the first mechanical tracking that we produced like 12 or 13 years ago. And that's what put Stipe on the map. since it's mechanical tracking, usually these days people prefer optical tracking since we deal a lot with green screens and LED walls. But mechanical tracking could be very useful in certain situations when we don't have a flat ceiling or the floor where we can put the markers, or where we don't have an option to put the follower witness cameras. Like, for example, on the beach, where we cannot put the markers on the ceiling or in the clouds, we can use mechanical tracking. That's basically the advantage of mechanical tracking and Stipe Kit, because it can be used inside or outdoors without any problem. It also sends lens data, positional and rotational data. We also have a fluid head and a Vinton that's basically, it's kind of like a simplified version of a Stipe Kit, but it just tracks pan and tilt. So basically you cannot like move the camera all over the place. But you do have, you're able to send lens data. The great thing about a human crane, which is our crane that you can see over there, now we're using it with optical tracking, with RedSpy, but it could be used also just as a mechanical tracking, is that head can be removed and installed on pretty much any tripod, and in that case, it acts like a PTZ head. So these are our optical and mechanical tracking solutions. I mentioned that we also have software. Our software is called Stipeland. And Stipeland is basically a plugin for Unreal. So it takes the best out of Unreal and amplifies it. And Stipeland is pretty complex, I would say, because you can use it for your AR, VR, XR workflow. And there's several key things about Stipeland. They're amazing. One of those is Green Killer, which we are demonstrating, again, on our small stage on the side, which is our 3D keyer, where you can basically scan the cyclorama. Another part of Stipeland is Stipe XR, which we use in situations like this, including set extension. Here we are not using Stipeland, but we did in the past. Great things about our Stipe XR comparable to the competitors is our angle calibration and color calibration that are seamlessly matching the set extension with the camera feed. So you basically cannot notice any difference in between what's projected on the LED wall and the AR that it's on top of it and the sides. Until recently, a few times I mentioned that the lens calibration is extremely important, and until recently, we would always have to send our techs to calibrate lenses for each project. Now we have a tool that it's called TWIM, which is basically auto calibration tool, which you can use to calibrate lenses that you have at a studio. It takes maybe half an hour for even less for a prime lenses, a little longer for zoom lenses. But you can, this way you can calibrate several lenses per day, and it can speed up the project and lower the cost because you don't have to hire any of us to come to your studio and do the calibration. So these are kind of the products that we've been using in production for years now. There's several products that we released very recently this year, and I would like to mention those. The product that we released this year at the NAB, it's NEB show in Vegas. It's called Stipe Central. It's basically a web-based Unreal control interface. It's very useful for broadcast industry, for example. It's a playlist-based, template-driven graphics control, and Type Central can really simplify your live and recorded studio productions. It supports MOS protocol, so it ensures that there's a seamless integration with newsroom systems. Since this has been very AI-oriented summit, I would like to mention our product that we also released this year. It's called AI Glue. It's also a tracking solution, and the great thing about it that it's much more affordable than a follower, which we have over there, and it's also cheaper than a RedSpy here. So it's great for the it's more budget friendly, I would say. And it doesn't require any installation, and just the preparation, it's much shorter. AI Glue is a tracking solution that accurately determines a person's position with a space, and it uses image-based AI technology. Two main components of AI Glue is depth tracking and skeleton tracking. Skeleton tracking is kind of like a mocap, just more simplified version of it. For depth tracking, it's important to mention that by determining the depth of person in space, we can walk in front or behind the AR graphics. This is especially useful for fake reflections. So that part is crucial with skeleton tracking. Skeleton AI Glue recognizes person body, and with this data, we can basically make motion capture. This is great it could be used for motion capture, but this information is more useful for AR virtual shadows. Like, for example, if we had like a LED floor here, those shadows would look extremely realistic. We can answer like more technical questions after here if you have any, or in our booth over there. Another product that I would like to mention is RedSpy Control Center. So I talked about RedSpy, which is our flagship product, our optical tracking that seems that everybody's using these days. With the RedSpy Control Center, you can control several RedSpys at the same time, and it's a web-based interface, and you can kind of centrally manage and monitor several RedSpys systems at your production facility. I would give one example. If you had, for example, 8 RedSpy cameras and just two or 4 main units, you can have them all plugged in the same main units, and then if you had like 2 studios, you can use a certain setup for Studio A and a certain setup for Studio B. So that way you can take advantage of more RedSpys at the same time, and you can have like a full control. You can choose different profiles, you can reset ranges, anything that before this product, you had to go and manually adjust each of RedSpy. Now you can do just from the interface. Some of our projects that I would like to mention, besides the one that you saw, we've been regularly present each year at the Super Bowl. We won several Emmys for our presence at the Super Bowl. And we also support other main sport events, including NBA and NFL. Earlier today, I saw that somebody mentioned Eminem's music video, Abracadabra. We actually did that video with the Red Spy with Synapse. Synapse is a production facility in Los Angeles. They were responsible for the video, and then they hired us for tracking. So they used Red Spy, and they always use Red Spy or Follower in their projects. Besides Eminem, we used the Red Spy for other music projects, including Justin Bieber's music video, Mariah Carey's Christmas special. And since I was present on that one, I believe that there was 9 Red Spies present at the same time. That was from 2020. And it was a super interesting project, especially since Snoop Dogg was Santa Claus. Besides music videos and sport events, I would like also to mention some movies. I already mentioned a show, Fallout, which was really complex because it used Red Spies for camera tracking, and Follower, that I mentioned that we have over there, was used for floating LED walls, and it was also used for props like Vertibird, which is basically a helicopter that was used at Fallout. Interesting thing about that one was that we placed the beacons on those floating LED walls. So if you paid attention to the reel, you saw how it was used for both Vertibird and floating LED screens. Besides that one, I would also like to mention Shazam, the movie that used Red Spy for the camera tracking, and for the elections here in U.S. and not just in U.S. We've been regularly using Follower, and pretty much all the TV studios used it, from ABC, NBC, Fox News, Telemundo, CBS. They all used Red Spies and sometimes Followers as well. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to mention. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now, or you can join us at the booth over there and we can demonstrate Follower system with the pen, with all the talent tracking, and we can also demonstrate the keyer, Green Killer, and the snipe plan.
I would highly recommend you check it out. It's very, very cool technology, and we have it live on site, so make sure you do that. Any questions in the audience? Any questions? No? All right, DJ. Thank you so much for your lovely presentation. Round of applause.